I want to ask you a question. What do you think of when you think computer programmer? Maybe if you've seen any movies or television, um, maybe you think about someone who's hunched over a keyboard in the basement, all dark and techno music blaring. Or maybe you think of something really sci-fi, kind of like someone in this high-rise building and loud techno music playing, and their computer has like matrix letters falling across it, or just all this text everywhere. Just a really, really sci-fi kind of techno thing going on. But that's definitely not the case. Computer programming is something that is accessible to just about everyone. Anyone who has a computer, even anyone with a mobile phone, can take part in computer programming. It's something that can be a part of your everyday life. It's something that can enhance your life, and it's something I want to take a look at in this speech. Um, some reasons why you might want to become a computer programmer, and we want to think about the first reason, which you can apply to everyday life, and that's that programming can make you a better problem solver. To quote Steve Jobs, everyone in this country should learn to program a computer because it teaches you to think. And I think that that's a very good way of putting it. Computer programming can certainly teach you how to think. In computer programming, what you're doing is just solving problems. Um, and you're taking this end result you want to reach. Like, let's think about an application a lot of people use, like Microsoft Word. And something simple, like, okay, we want to narrow the margins so much. That would be your problem, and you're using computer programming to solve that. You're breaking things down into steps, looking at the individual steps to get from point A to point B. Point A being, you've got the text on the page. Point B being the margins are, moved in some. But let's look at like a real world example. Think about changing the tire on a car. Uh, at face value, you've got this really overwhelming problem, depending on how you look at it. I guess depending on whether or not you've ever changed a tire before. And maybe you're thinking, man, what am I going to do here? How am I going to do this? Especially if you've been seriously inconvenienced, like you're on the way to a family reunion or something and the tire blows. But the computer programming angle is to break it down into parts and look at the different elements of those parts. For example, the tire on the car. You've got the tire, the car, you've got the thing that you use to remove the bolts, you've got the jack, you've got all these elements that are involved. And you've got the different steps in doing so. Jack up car, remove tire from car, or take a step back, remove bolts, remove tire, get spare tire out, that sort of thing. And that's how a computer programmer would look at things. You've got the different steps, and you work on each of these individual steps. Like, let's think about removing the bolts from the car. How much force do I need to apply to get these bolts off? In computer programming, you're doing things over and over again. If your program doesn't work the first time, you go back and you hunt for whatever it is that's making it not work. And applying this to the car problem again, you would hunt through the problem you're trying to solve, which is removing those bolts, and say, how much force do I need to apply? Oh, that didn't work. Let's tweak it. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that worked. And, your program, so to speak, is a bit closer to being complete, which would be complete when you put the spare tire on the car and you get going again. So computer programming can make you a better problem solver. You can apply that all across the board to just about anything where there's a problem. Breaking things down into steps, tweaking the individual elements of those steps, and solving problems. So that's, like a real world everyday application. But what about, say, you want to pursue this as an actual career. You want to make money. You want to make a living doing this. Well, you can. Computer programming can prepare you to enter the world of IT. Software developer jobs are on the increase. They're expected to increase 22% from 2019 to 2029, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. That's a very good outlook, considering that the top 20 jobs run anywhere from 23% to 69%. That puts software development right up there in probably the top 40 or top 30. And the median pay for a software developer is $107,000. It's $107,510. So you'd be making a very good living if you got into software development. So computer programming, you can go the college route, you can go the self-taught route. There's no shortage of stories where people will tell you about how they got into the software industry on their own. But, you know, either way, if you become a software developer, you will be set. It is a very good field to get into. And computer programming is basically the cornerstone of software development. So that's another reason to get involved in computer programming. So maybe you don't want to make it a professional career. You know, maybe you don't want to make it the 8 hours you spend a day for the rest of your life, except for Fridays and Saturdays, Saturdays, Sundays, or whatever. Maybe you just want it to be a hobby, which is okay too, because you can also make quite a bit of money writing apps for mobile devices. The Google Play Store and the Apple App Store are filled with, I don't know, tens of thousands of apps written by people who do this stuff as a hobby. And these are apps that people are making money with. The things you need to do this are out there. The programs that you use to build programs are freely available, and it doesn't cost anything to put your app on the Google Store. I don't know much about that because I've never actually written an app for the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, but I do know that what it takes to do so is freely available, and all you have to be is self-motivated and desiring to do that sort of thing. So those are 3 good reasons to get involved in computer programming. There's no reason why, if you're interested in this sort of thing, that you couldn't just pick it up and go with it. And if you want to take a step further, to make money with it in your spare time, or even make it a full-fledged career. So I just want to thank you and wish you a good evening.